Hi everyone, it's Jerry. I have an instructive game to share with you from 2023. An engine battle. On the white end, Clover, rated 3,412, playing against Stockfish, rated 3,515. All right, the opening phase. What do we have here? A Nimzo-Indian Defense. Classical. In every phase of this game, I feel that there is an important lesson. One of the more instructive games I've come across recently here. A model game, I would say, out of this Nimzo-Indian classical line. Let's get some more development in. Bishop for knight exchange. And white in this one is building a big center. F3 supports this pawn trio. And what's nearby now is e5, taking advantage of the pin's knight. So how to address this? Well, first question the bishop, and now strike d4. All right, from here, it is pawn captures on c5. If e5 is played here, well, black will be able to react with a capture on d4. No time to take here. Problem there. Got to recapture, and there you go. We could chop the other pawn, and we're yet again on the queen. Mission accomplished. No scary pawn attacking the pinned knight. So that's not going to work out well. Playing e5 here. It's the capture on c5. We follow the general rule. Taking towards the center, taking away. e5 is going to hurt us. So b takes c it is. Rook on a half-open file. We have a pin here, and now the follow-up e5. So that's good news. Pawns on dark, coordinating with that remaining bishop. And where do we go from here? Well, bishop reroutes. This is the unopposed bishop. This next move, I found especially instructive. We have in this game queen to b6. What white is eyeing up is b4. Going to increase the pressure on these light squares, try and break down its center. This grabbed my attention because you're going into a pin. Instinctually, I'm looking at a move like queen c7 to watch over these 2 points, stay out of the pin. No, Stockfish in this one goes straight into the pin. Welcomes b4, and that's what we see in the game. So what's the idea? What's a difference between queen b6 and queen c7? It's going to be revealed shortly. This tension, keep in mind, is a positive for white. White would like to, in a way, keep black guessing. Is there going to be a capture? Is there going to be a push? There's value in keeping that option open for white. So black's going to try and influence this point as soon as possible. We see that with knight c6. There's now 3 attackers on that, only 2 defenders. The rook goes to b1 in this game. If rook takes d6, there's a capture here on b4. You take my queen, I take yours. You take my pawn, I take yours. Okay. In this game, it is rook b1. And now comes a5. There is a pin here. And there is now 4 attackers, 3 defenders on the b4 pawn. There's an only move for white. You have to play b4. So this is a very big pawn, a connected passer. Very instructive game here. This light square bishop is the star piece in the game. Right now, it really doesn't seem effective. It's maybe only seen at this point as Mr. Blockader. If this pawn tries to run, it's going to be tough to go any further with the bishop planted here on b7. We're going to see this bishop's eyes open along this diagonal soon enough. We don't have to react to pawn captures knight just yet. Rook is undefended. Where do we play from here? Well, knight h5, bishop d3. Now this is a threat. Now the knight hops into this wonderful square on d4. Weakest square in white's camp. Fantastic control over this knight. From here, knight e2 is played. You pretty much never want to capture here on d4 with the bishop. what would you be doing? That exchanging your good bishop for the knight. What's going to happen after that? We'll see the recapture towards the center, and this knight will eventually love that c5 square. Perfect outpost. So white's plan is knight to e2 to challenge the knight, and I was caught a little bit off guard here. The decision, knight captures knight. Now, I thought, this is such a wonderful square, you just keep the knight there and say, good luck trying to work around it, and should it ever be captured, okay, thanks. I have now a connected passer. But no, in this game, we get the knight exchange. King recapturing in this case. From here, knight f4 check, and the queen returns home. Mission accomplished. She's not needed anymore on b6. She has influenced that b pawn. All right, from here, bishop g3. Pop quiz. How would you respond here? Feel free to pause the video. All right, surprising moment. What we have here is knight takes bishop. Now that caught me off guard. I thought to myself, okay, you had the queen knight go into d4. Why not maneuver the other one there? I mean, you could play in this way, but it says it's still just about equal, and you sort of would come to a standstill. What am I talking about exactly? Well, let's see. Let's say the knight gets there, and let's just look at this position. How do you make progress here? How do these rooks thrive? Where's the break? The only break is going to be with f5, but if f5 is in there, watch what happens. White has perfect control over this e4 break. In this opposite color bishop position, if you can't get this in, this is sort of an ineffective piece. Progress here for white, rook e3, king h2, nice and cozy there. Bishop providing shelter for the king. Other rook ready to activate. Who's really the better side there? Seems like the white rooks would be more effective. Okay, so what is Stockfish's idea then? Well, immediately removes the bishop in this case. Gets rid of the bad bishop. Now, deeper point here is that this is going to enable an eventual e4 pawn break. This is going to extend the scope of this light square bishop. Whoever can better activate their bishop in an opposite color bishop position is usually the better side. We see that. f5 straight away. Uncomfortable position here for white. King still uncastled. Have to go king f2, move the rook, castle by hand. f5 is in there. We get the capture on f5, queen g5. And from here we have king f2. If queen takes d6, queen takes f5 would be the way, hitting the rook, looking forward to an e4 break. What do you do here? If white doubles on the d file, in this case e4 is not best. There's a resource in queen d7, there being this coordination. But rook d8 is a way. Two rooks for the queen imbalance. White doesn't have coordination to enter that imbalance, queen versus the two rooks. Rooks would be disconnected in the end. Okay. What about rook e1 here? This is where e4 would be in there. And this is a winning break. And if you want to keep things shut down, well then there's a passed pawn for white to work with. This is winning position here for black. So my point, queen captures here on d6. Not a good idea. It's king f2. Rook takes f5. And from here we have rook h to d1. If we revisit this capture in this scenario, it's an important line. If queen takes in this situation, the plan will be to increase the pressure on f3, not with the intention to sacrifice the bishop. The idea would be to, in fact, sacrifice the rook. In this position here, rook takes f3 is winning. If you take with the bishop, this goes nowhere because after The rook recaptured. The king can camp out here on this cozy g2 square, preventing any sacrifice on g3. We're just going to get some liquidation here. So the plan would be, in a situation like this, to sacrifice the rook. And then this will be winning. Where do you go from here? You step to these two. There's going to be a check here. That rook falls. The other rook is going to fall. No fear in the end of any perpetual. Bishop covers the king on this light square diagonal. And if the king goes in the other direction at this point after the rook sacrifice, king here, there you go. We sacrifice the rook and it'll be checkmate next. Checkmate like this or that. So the d6 pawn is poison in more than one case. No queen takes d6 here. Rook h to d1. From here, e4, queen e3, white king feeling the pressure. Let's try and get the queens off. Capture on f3. Queens are off. Endgame phase here now. No in-betweener do no at this point. Pawn takes, discovered check. Rook is hanging. Pawn takes, queen it is. And from here we have king to g1. If white captured on f3, you're going to lose the exchange because there's bishop captures f3. Rook is hit. You save this rook. Doesn't matter. Bishop e4, discovered check. You lose the other one. So at this point, the king hides on g2, or at least tries to hide. And now we have the capture here on g2. Look at this bishop. Earlier, it was just around as Mr. Blockader of a passed pawn, but wow. It now has an important role defending a very dangerous passed pawn, just a step away. Double duty with this bishop. Really can't ask too much more of that one piece, and it's really beautiful to see how black interacts with this bishop. From here, a4, rook's doubled, bishop takes pawn, rook f7, and rook to e1. Now, where do we go from here? If you like to, go ahead, pause the video, see if you could come up with a winning idea here as black. Okay. Step 1, king h7. Now, notice this intersection square, f1. This freezes both of these rooks. If any one of them moves off of the first rank, the rook sweeps into f1, and it's going to be leading to checkmate. So they're stuck. What can you do here as white? The bishop is pretty much the only piece that could move. This pawn could move, but just one step and then what? The plan here for black is to inch the king all the way up to h3. And once it is on h3, it's defending the pawn. And once it's there defending the pawn, this bishop is no longer needed to defend the pawn. So it can then shift its attention and maneuver in a way to control f1. And then there's going to be no successful way to stop rook to f1, leading to mate. That's the general plan. King on h3, put the bishop somewhere else on a square where it controls f1, and we're golden. Some other moves are sprinkled in to safeguard the king once it's on the third rank. We'll see those moves, rook f3, a pawn jumping up to g3. This is the general plan. Get the king to h3. All right. From here, b6. The king continues to march. I want to point out, this is one thing I tested out. I'm wondering, well, wasn't there maybe a faster way? If, why can't we maybe try to go bishop here straight away? If you try something like this, the bishop can be captured, and after this check, we're not taking the rook. White wouldn't take the rook, but instead grab the pawn, and this would not be winning here. Yeah, two passers, a bishop, the king. you're not getting at the king here. This wouldn't be a winning way. So you can't go straight in for a quick reposition with the bishop in short. The king continues to march. A lot of kind of shuffling here by white. There isn't much that could be done. Rook defending the third rank, paving the way for the king post on h3. This does block the bishop's direct defense of the pawn, but it would be poison. So in the game, it's bishop captures c5 here. If king takes pawn, it's going to lead to mate. Rook f2 check. Where do you go with the king? King here, mate in 1. King here, it'll be mate in 2. Multiple mate in 2s from here. Check, block, mate with the pawn. And also, if you go back, we'd have a mate in 2, or mate in 3 with check, discovered check, and next up, checkmate. So the pawn here, after rook f3, this pawn is indirectly defended. In the game, bishop takes c5, g4, g5, triple isolated pawns. These ones here, connected, passed, but under control. Bishop, perfect piece. This pawn's still poison. From here, g3, bishop d6. What other option does white have here? If we see this capture on g3, the king slips in. There we go. Maybe this. The king goes to h3. And let's say the rook goes here. There we go. Bishop a6 will be the winning way. What do you do about this? Now that the king's there securing this, there isn't a great way to prevent rook to f1. The only move that interferes with things for just a little bit would be bishop f4 here, but we just capture the bishop. The idea could maybe be to cut off this rook from seeing f1, pushing g4 in this case, but hang on. This is a winning way. Here, here, and then mate on h1. These pawns are not far enough advanced, not scary enough. So, no matter how you slice it, white is not getting out of this one. After g3 in this game, bishop d6, capture on h2, bishop takes h2, and this one is considered over at this stage, winning here for black. If the game continued, king g4, king h3, and there you go. It's going to be this same idea, bishop a6, and there's no stopping this follow-up idea to get to f1. Beautiful endgame idea here with the king marching all the way up to h3 and really keying in on that one key square, f1. This is really the turned out to be the star piece in the game. Anyhow, what are your thoughts with this one? Feel free, as usual, to leave any feedback to this video in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed it and maybe took a thing or two away. That's all for now. Take care.